2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast.
What's up, guys? Welcome into it. Happy pre-Friday, my friends. We have plenty to talk about today. It is a crazy day, and we're going to have some fun for sure. So strap in, buckle up, let's do this thing. Bottom of the hour, we have Nicholas Anthony with the Cato Institute. We'll chat with them about Donald Trump's plan to cap credit card interest rates. Is it a good idea? Will it help the economy, or is it nothing more than price control from the federal government? We'll have that conversation. Also, some craziness going on that we need to have a serious conversation about with Congress and so much more. Make sure to like it out, share it out, leave that comment, break the algorithm. Let's do this thing on a Thursday. Hang tight. Here we go.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Broadcasting from the heart of the nation, the next generation in conservative talk radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, it is. What is up, my friends? Welcome into it. It is your pre-Friday celebration. Hey, it is so great to have you for another one here. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. The weekend right around the corner. The Super Bowl apparently is a bigly thing happening this weekend. Are you watching that one? We'll get to that a little bit later, probably tomorrow on the show, because there is plenty to talk about today. Holy cow, another day in absolute chaos and pandemonium with the news headlines across the board. So we will cover as much as we possibly can. First and foremost, welcome into it. As usual, it is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hooser, broadcasting out of the heart of the nation in Wichita, Kansas on our flagship radio station. But we are all over the country. So many great radio affiliates doing the thing.
Do it live!
Like we do every single day here on the program. Nicholas Anthony will be on at the bottom of the hour. He's with the Cato Institute. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and his plan to cap credit card interest rates. Is it a good idea or a bad idea? And, I know, right? Yeah. And is it nothing more than price control at the federal level, which Republicans do not like and conservatives do not support? Or is it a way to get the economy back on track? So we'll do that with Nicholas Anthony coming up at the bottom of the hour. There's plenty to talk about as well. Savannah Guthrie, apparently there's an update in her case. Now, I got to admit, I have not been following this case a whole lot, so I don't know if you have or not, but to me, it's just, I feel bad for her. Her mom's missing. She doesn't know what's going on, but I just don't follow those types of crime cases. I don't. My wife, we call it what was it, the case from South Park, they call it the murder porn? Yeah, I know. Apparently people like that stuff. I just don't get into it. I don't know. But we have an update on that we'll get to in just a little bit. First and foremost, though, I have to go out to the state of California. And if you want a prime example of first world problems, I really feel bad for the young generation. My daughter's in 6th grade. She's growing up. She's kind of witnessing and observing the world. She's becoming more aware of things that are going on. And I try to, show her what's going on in the world, because now she's starting to be more involved in what she wants to do, who she wants to be, and where she stands on certain issues. And so I try to expose her to as much as I can to the world the best way. But you want to talk about a failed public education system, man. Have you seen this video out of a school district in the state of California where one of the school board members, a younger individual that seems like they've only been on maybe relatively recently, made a statement about something that she's so extremely offended about?
I'm personally offended
by what was presented
Shock and awe. What was it? What could it be?
on so many different levels.
So many different levels.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to unhoused.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Very dramatic, by the way.
I'm not done.
Can I just don't want Mr. Berman to for this to be on him. That's the way our state of California, that's the language that they use, and that's their
That doesn't
reporting.
mean that's the language we have to use. I'm
Those are
just
their
making
tiles.
a statement, and
I
I'd
know.
like
I
to
just
have
want
my
to make
time
sure
to
that.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Okay, so this was a conversation in a California public school district regarding student achievement. And apparently during the conversation, whoever was testifying or coming up to talk to the board was talking about homelessness and students that maybe don't have the same opportunities as other individuals or families that may be struggling, whatever the case was. And instead of taking away the point of whatever the conversation was at that time, this young individual felt extremely and personally offended because they used the word homeless instead of unhoused. And whoever else is on the board, like, wait a second, that's the state of California recognizes this word. These are the people, I know, this is the stupid that we're in today, right? This is a whole new level.
I'm special.
This is where we're at now with the young generation starting to take hold of leadership roles, school boards, city councils, county commissions, state legislative seats, even up in the congressional seats in Washington, D.C., across the board. This is the young generation, the next round of leaders in this nation that are ready to curb the issues of the day where they want student achievement, but they're not worried about the student achievement if we're not using the right words, because we need to use the word unhoused, not the word homeless.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to unhoused.
Man, I got to tell you, man, it's a whole new world. And again, first world problems, if that's what you have to complain about, then I think we're doing okay, right? I think we're doing okay. All right, that leads me to...
What's trending today?
I bring it up. I'm sorry, I can't stop giggling from that one. It's so stupid. But I bring it up because I have to ask the Republican Party a serious question. And this is not coming from a partisanship of myself being part of the Republican Party, even being in leadership of the Republican Party. This is me coming from as a conservative that's looking for just a moment, stepping back the 30,000-foot view and objectively looking at the two parties that we have right now and what the futures hold here. And I have to ask the Republican Party generally a very simple question. Are you prepared for what's happening right now? Are you really aware what's happening right in front of our eyes? Are you prepared for the battles that we're trying to go through right now? Because I don't think that you're necessarily aware of what's really happening and the severity of what's going on. And I want to use two separate cases for this argument, because the Republican Party, for the longest time, again, not as a member, but as a third-party objector here for just a moment, tries to play by the rules for the most part. There's obviously, some sleazy politicians. They happen on all sides of the aisle. There's people that try to take advantage of a situation, never let a crisis go to waste, right? But overall, as a party, the Republican Party, until Donald Trump came into office, was the party of the go-along, get-along, rhino establishment party. And anybody that tried to rock that boat in any fashion was booted out of the party, which is why we see the libertarians that were booted out under Ron Paul. You can think he was crazy or you like him, whatever your personal opinion is of Ron Paul, the dad. Then that was the libertarian movement that was booted out because they stood on principle. They didn't like to just go along with the flow and rubber stamp things in Washington, D.C. And the party of George Bush is over. But that's what the party was back in the day. George Bush Sr., Ronald Reagan tried to shake it up a little bit, but didn't quite get as far as what we probably would have liked. Now that Donald Trump's in, he's shaken up the party. There's a lot of the rhino Republicans that are gone. There's a lot of new MAGA, and I say that in air quotes to the radio listeners, MAGA Republican candidates and MAGA Republican elected officials that realize that you can't just go with the status quo, that you have to do something a little bit different, but we're still not quite there. And I say that because we have a two-front war, we have a multi-front war going on, but two particular cases that are in the headlines today for our What's Trending stories.
What's trending today?
Number one, I want to focus on going to the state of Virginia for just a moment, where apparently the state Supreme Court in Virginia is going to be hearing a case regarding redistricting in the state. Now, this is a major case. This is a bigly one.
And I think we're going to make it bigly.
Yeah, if you're not prepared of what's happening in Virginia, this could be a game breaker for the midterm elections of 2026. After California has now been approved with their change in how they're going to be doing their redistricting, they're going to be regaining close to 4 to 5 seats in California. That's going to neutralize the gains that Republicans saw down in Texas. Now, was there a need for it? We talked about that on the program yesterday. In my opinion, no. There was a need in Texas. There was a major demographic change on the elections and the outcome of the elections, and we want that to be properly represented in Washington. So there was a legitimate argument for that one. But it was seen as political. And therefore, Democrats, who I can smell the desperation coming from them, they are finding ways to try and neutralize any gains that Republicans have, because this is a war. And by war, I don't want you to get all worked up and be like, yeah, he's advocating for war. No, that's not the case. We are in an ideological Cold War right now. It is not a physical war. No one wants it to be a physical war. No one's advocating for it to be a physical war. It is a ideological war in this nation right now on how the game is played in the game of politics. And what do I mean by that? We use the example quite a bit on the show of children, because that's really what politicians are in general. That's really what the Democrat Party is in general, is that the Democrats like to create rules for the board game, and then when they start losing because the other side starts using the rules against them, they change the rules on a dime, and that's really how Democrats have played for a long time. Let's just be honest. Democrats play dirty. As a third-party objector, for just a moment, politicians play dirty in general. Democrats as a whole, as a collective, play a lot dirtier than Republicans because Republicans play within the rules, which is why there are Republican state legislators around the nation that have not approved the redistricting in their states to squeak out 1 or 2 additional seats in their state. They haven't done it. Why? Because, well, we don't feel a need to do so. It's politically probably not smart for us to do so. We don't want to rock the boat. We're just going to wait until the next census. They want to play by the rules and play nice. What are Democrats doing, and what have they done for a long time? We don't care. If we're going to get an inch, we're going to take a mile. We're going to redraw the lines. We're going to gerrymander the hell out of our state, and we're going to squeeze out as many seats to benefit us as possible. We do not care whether they actually make sense or not whatsoever. Republicans are like, really doesn't make sense for us. We'll just wait until the next one. We don't want to be controversial like that. We don't want to look like we're playing dirty. But Democrats don't really care about that. They sink to different lows. Point in case is the state of Virginia. The state Supreme Court's hearing a case right now, according to Politico.com, where if this is approved, because it's being challenged right now the makeup in the state of Virginia has 6 Democrat seats, 5 Republican seats. That's the current makeup. If this changes and they're allowed to do the redistricting that's been proposed, Democrats gain 4 new seats. What does that mean? That means Democrats would hold 10 seats and Republicans would hold 1. That's it. That is a major shift in the makeup of Congress upcoming for the midterm elections. That would mean that Democrats pretty much, based on what other states have done, where we're at with the changes in the gerrymandering and the redrawing of the lines, that would pretty much guarantee Democrats to have the majority in the House of Representatives. So I ask again the question at the top of the hour, Republicans, are you aware what's happening right now? Elected officials in D.C., RNC, I know the Trump administration is because they're always under attack, but are you aware of the war that we're playing right now while you're trying to, quote unquote, play nice and just go with the flow and just let the system play out and let the formula play itself out? Are you aware of what's happening for us? That's case number 1. Here's case number 2, and I want to take it to Washington, D.C. for just a moment. Headline out of Newsmax.com today, where according to John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader for the Republican side, he's made a statement today apparently saying that the demands by Democrats for the new restrictions that they want to impose on immigration officers, because remember, we have 2 weeks to do the funding for the Department of Homeland Security. If that doesn't happen, that portion of the government shuts down. That means no ICE officers. That means no FEMA. That means no other federal law enforcement agencies under the Department of Homeland Security. That ends in 2 weeks. And Republicans already caved in the House, by the way, with the approval of John Thune, to say we'll separate that from the rest of the appropriations bill. We'll pass it for a 2-week extension so we can talk about, quote unquote, reforms under DHS. We already caved. Like, the battle's already lost. We already showed our weakness. We already even gave Democrats an inch of what we shouldn't have done in the first place. We allowed them that type of leverage for Democrats to be like, hey, we've officially redeemed ourselves after the failed 45-day shutdown of the government back in October and November of last year when we tried to do the subsidies for Obamacare that didn't quite work out. They failed that time. This was their redemption, and we gave it to them. Republicans gave it to them by allowing the separation of that funding because of the shooting and all the chaos that was going on in Minneapolis. They didn't realize that that was only a temporary thing. Things are being de-escalated right now. Tom Homan's up there dealing with the local politicians. They're starting to get a handle on this, and that's a good thing. But it was the sexy flavor of the day, which is why the media ran with it. They made it such a big deal, and it was such a big story nationwide because they wanted to put pressure on Democrats to do something about it. They were able to separate that funding, and now we have 2 weeks. Well, according to John Thune, he said that some of the demands that they're doing for ICE in the new funding bill are, quote, unrealistic, and they're okay with now keeping the government shut down. The way I'm hearing this now is that Republicans realize their mistake. They're wanting to show and flex their muscles, and it's kind of a day late and a dollar short to do so.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
When America builds, the world follows. Our energy powered the 20th century. We've set the standard for generations, and we never waited for permission. But now, we're being held back. Outdated rules, endless delays. Without permitting reform, Washington's red tape is slowing us down while other nations race ahead. It doesn't have to be this way. We can clear the way for energy that's affordable, reliable, and built right here. Because what's built here is felt here. Lower costs, more jobs, stronger communities. That's what permitting reform makes possible. Energy didn't just shape our country, it powered the American dream. And with our innovation, we can lead the 21st century. Congress has a choice. Build America's energy future or risk falling behind. Tell Congress, pass permitting reform now.
Miss any part of the show? Well, don't worry. Now's your chance to go find the podcast and listen to as much of the Voice of Reason as you'd like. As the show continues to grow all across the nation with great radio affiliates, we also continue to grow as one of the top conservative podcasts, ranked 5th on the MillionPodcast.com Best 50 Conservative Leadership Podcasts in the nation, and number 1 on FeedSpot.com's 30 Best Conservative Talk Shows in the country. The show continues to grow each and every day. Just find us on any of your favorite podcasting sites at The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Hey, did you know that you can have multiple different networks on one single smartphone? Well, with Patriot Mobile, you can. It's time for you to sign up for the Patriot Mobile primary phone plan with plans as low as $15 a month, where you can have 2 numbers and 2 networks on one single phone. And right now, if you sign up using the promo code REASON, you can get an entire month absolutely free. It's the Patriot Mobile One plan. 1 phone, 2 numbers, and 2 networks. And it's all at patriotmobile.com/reason. Again, patriotmobile.com, and use the promo code REASON.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did 2 guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a pre-Friday celebration. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time. Had a message over the break say, Andy, are you angry today? No, I'm not. I'm fired up. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous because if we see these court cases come through and allow this redistricting, can you imagine Virginia, which we get it. There's a lot of blue people there. It's a, Washington, D.C. area. It's the East Coast. I get it. It's already probably predominantly blue, but there's a lot of conservatives there. That was the place, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that the place, there's a couple of years ago where they had like 10,000 people show up for a Second Amendment rally in Virginia to say, yeah, you're not going to actually allow the banning of firearms or whatever they were doing in Virginia. There were thousands of people that showed up to that one with, and I mean like AR-15 slung over their shoulders. Like there's a lot of great conservative Republicans in the Virginia area. To think that you're only going to have potentially one congressional seat representing you because how bad they want to gerrymander and redistrict that place is absolutely insane. So again, I just asked a simple question. Republicans, do you know really what's happening right now? And are you okay just going by the rules because the Democrats created the rules? The progressives created the rules to benefit them, and you're just kind of going along with it. Sometimes we get a break here and there, but are you willing to do the tough thing? Prime case we'll get to in just a moment as we continue that. But I want to tell you about my friends over at Lean. I have been taking Lean since the beginning of the year. I feel awesome. I've been losing weight. It gives me energy. Not that I need more energy because you can hear what we do on the show each and every day. But you have no idea how much damage it is to gain and lose weight like you do every year, top of the year. You do, some New Year's resolution. You get back in the gym for like a week or two. You lose a couple pounds, and then you go back to your normal cycle. It's called weight cycling. A lot of Americans do it, and it's really bad for you. It's when you lose 10 pounds or more, and then you put it back on, gain a couple more. It's really tough on your body, really tough on your organs, and it leaves you really frustrated. Bottom line, most people need help losing weight, and here's a great way to do it with non-prescription Lean. It was created by doctors. It's an oral supplement, not an injection like the GLP-1s, and the science is really cool. It works in 3 powerful ways. It helps maintain healthy blood sugar, it controls appetite and cravings, and it helps burn fat by converting it to energy. And when you burn the fat, you help keep the weight off. If you want to lose meaningful weight at a healthy pace and keep it off, add Lean to your diet and your exercise lifestyle. Right now, for my listeners, get 20% off when you enter the promo code REASON and takelean.com. That's the website, takelean.com. Enter the promo code REASON at checkout, REASON. For my listeners, get 20% off when you do it, and do it with me right now. You want to know why Donald Trump is so popular? And I mean by popular, there's a lot of polls that show apparently Donald Trump's approval ratings are in the tank. That's not true. CNN just ran a story earlier today that said this.
It's not just about Donald Trump. It's about the Make America movement. Again, that's what we're talking about, Make America Great Again movement. And it is as powerful as it has ever been. Because I want you to take a look here. GOP who view MAGA favorably. 2 years ago, when Donald Trump was running for term number 2, it was 74%. Today, look at this. It's 78% of Republicans who view the Make America Great Again movement favorably. So we're talking about something that, in my opinion, will very much be able to outlast Donald Trump. Trump is in term number 2. He can't run for a term number 3. But the bottom line is this. What he brought into the GOP looks like it's going to last long beyond him.
You want to know why the MAGA movement's so popular? You want to know why 78% of Republicans continue to support the MAGA movement and President Donald Trump? Is because Donald Trump don't care. Donald Trump's not trying to get reelected. Donald Trump's not trying to be hamstrung by whatever and play nice and go with the flow and just use the system and just coast along. He don't care. He creates it. There's an issue. We're going to fix the issue. Oh, it's going to be challenging court. Yeah, we know it's going to be challenging court. Guess what? We'll win some, we'll lose some, but we're just going to continue to press on. And if we do lose in court, we're going to try it a different way and we're going to cram it down their throats. It's what Donald Trump's done. And we have a few Republicans that are starting to get that same idea and realize that, but not enough. And that's why we could potentially lose our congressional seats with this gerrymandering, with this potential shutdown, because we already caved. We already showed our weakness that we're not willing to stand up and fight. So I ask the question again, Republicans, do you really know what's going on right now in reality? Because you need to step it up.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
I apologize for the delay. The president and I were watching the press conference about the search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, which is just a heartbreaking situation. The president, as you all know, spoke directly with Savannah yesterday and told her that the federal government is here to help. Any requests that are made by state and local officials in the search of Miss Guthrie will absolutely be accommodated. I spoke with the FBI directly about that today as well. And our hearts and our prayers are with Savannah and her entire family as they search for her dear mother.
All right, so Caroline Levitt during a press conference today regarding the story of Savannah Guthrie. Now, I got to admit, I haven't followed that story a whole lot. I don't really get into the true crime type of stories, and apparently the missing mother we thought was dead or murdered or something, and then now is missing. And apparently there is an update on that story really quickly for you.
What's trending today?
This one had tipped to Fox News on it, where a California man has now been arrested and is facing charges after allegedly demanding Bitcoin payments from the family regarding the kidnapping, quote-unquote, of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, where apparently he was charged with transmitting the text demanding the ransom for the kidnapped individual. So I don't know if that means that he was just a faker breaker that really didn't have the person, or I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but that's where we're at with it. The grander story is, though, is that while the media hates Donald Trump, and Savannah Guthrie especially, not a big fan of Donald Trump because she's part of that mainstream media, the Donald Trump extended a personal call and said, hey, whatever you need, federal law enforcement, state law enforcement, whatever you need, you got it. Let's make this happen. I hate to see this happening. So maybe the media, maybe Savannah herself be like, wow, there's a little bit of humanity in Donald Trump. Maybe I shouldn't think of him as some evil, tyrannical dictator that's about ready to throw me in Guantanamo Bay, right? Right! But we are discussing the media, so I guess there is that, because it doesn't matter what Donald Trump does, he's still the most horrible person on the face of the earth. That being said, let's get into what's trending.
What's trending today?
So the theme of the day, I kind of asked the question at the top of the hour, Republicans, are you aware of what's happening right now? Are you aware of the battle that we're in right now instead of playing by the rules that Democrats don't abide by? Because they created most of the rules. And like most of the time, when they start losing with the rules that they created, they overturn the board game, or they end up changing the rules on the spot to benefit them. That's what we're starting to see in many different cases right now. That's not to say is Donald Trump just kind of does what he feels is right at the time, knowing that he's not going to play by the rules. That's not to say that everything he's doing is probably the best way to approach issues as well. As we go to our next guest on the program,
let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
So, as you know, there's been an issue regarding the quote-unquote affordability topic in the nation. One of those of Donald Trump announcing recently of wanting to cap interest rates on credit cards. Sounds like a great idea, right? I mean, there's some crazy interest rates on credit cards, up over 20, 30% in some cases overall. But is that the best way to do it? And Republicans, I ask you, you're in Congress, you should be doing something to some degree, but what's the best approach for this one? Because is that the best way to handle the affordability problem with high interest rates on credit cards, or is this price control coming from the federal government? Talk about some of this and more. Happy to have on the program from the Cato Institute. Really happy to have on Nicholas Anthony. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on the show. What an interesting conversation as well, too, because a lot of people were really excited about the idea of, hey, having 25, 26% interest rates on my credit card, that's kind of insane. I have a lot of student loans. Having, a private student loan, one of mine was 13% interest rates on a $25,000 student loan. That's kind of blowing my mind. We shouldn't have those, but is it really the role for government to doing price control in some fashion? Nick, where do we go from here? Because this is kind of a wild predicament that we're in.
Well, I really want to tee it up with what you brought at the beginning, because you were spot on that Republicans are in control. Republicans are setting the rules right now. But this proposal, this isn't from Donald Trump originally. This is something that Senator Bernie Sanders had championed with AOC as well in the House. And now he seems to be bringing it back, and suddenly it's a Republican idea. But that's kind of a weird one for me. I kind of had to scratch my head and make sure I wasn't dreaming when I first heard this.
Yeah.
But this is not the way to do it. This is fundamentally the federal government coming in and saying, you're making too much money, or you're doing the wrong service in your business. We're going to decide for you how to run your business.
Yeah.
I definitely sympathize with folks. I've been on the bad end of it as well when the rate or even just prices in general are too high. But coming in and having a one-size-fits-all for the country, that just doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not the way to do it. We've been critical of that kind of mindset for a long time. Joe Biden talked about doing it for grocery stores and for the price of gas and for everything else. He tried to control that. We have Zoran Mamdani in New York City right now that wants free grocery stores, and he wants to cap certain prices on rent and whatever else he wants to do. Like, that's against what we stand for. So I don't want to support that mindset from a Trump administration just because it might benefit us in a grander scale with that kind of idea. So what is, first, I take that back. Let's go take back a step here. What is the best way to approach this issue? Because in my mind, the way people get frustrated with this issue is that right now the government's failed in one of their duties they're supposed to be dealing with, which is ensuring there are no monopolies in a certain industry. And when you have MasterCard and you have Visa and you have kind of sort of American Express tagging along there as well, you essentially have a monopoly, and that's probably, in my opinion, what led to the disaster that we're dealing with right now with high interest rates.
Yeah, and one of the problems that we need to always remember to look back at is whenever there's too much concentration, the first question should be, how did we get here? Why don't we have other options? And really, this is something that President Trump can have an impact on that benefits everyone, and that's opening up the playing field, looking at this laundry list of laws and regulations that has made it harder than ever to open up a business. Really, that applies to many industries, but the credit card industry specifically here. You have so many reporting requirements, disclosure requirements, making sure that loans are fitting in certain brackets. All of these things make it harder for a business to enter this field. And when you do that, you effectively build a wall around the incumbent players.
Right.
You make this wall around it so no one can step in and say, hey, I want to shake things up. I want to start competing in a different way, offer people different services or cheaper services. And that's something that can be fixed that will lift all boats in this situation. It won't mean cutting off one hand to help the other.
Yeah, and that's for a broader conversation, that goes more than just the financial market like we're seeing with credit cards, right? I mean, that's really in every industry, in the healthcare industry, in oil manufacturing industries, and meat manufacturing industries. Heck, we have the Tyson food plants that essentially dominate all of the meat processing in the country, to where the smaller meat processing stuff really can't get off the ground unless it's just in a tiny little market. More competition, having more in an industry, being able to invent, come up with new ideas, new innovative ways. That's just an idea that we have to get back to across the board, isn't it?
Yes, and I tell you, it breaks my heart. As an economist, I see young folks that are starting to notice how the world works, and so many of them get upset with capitalism. They say that this is so unfair that you have these concentrated industries, and they're so close to seeing the real problem. It's not capitalism, but cronyism.
Yes.
That's the problem. We have too many walls built up through laws and regulations that are supposed to help people. They may be well-intentioned, but in practice, this is what we get out of it. And we have to return to realizing that this is not the way. We need to lower these barriers, get competition in there, and that will bring down prices in a way that helps everyone. And that's, like you said, that is true across the board, really every industry. My specialty might be money and finance, but my colleagues at the Cato Institute say the same thing, whether it's healthcare, whether it's trade or manufacturing or anything else.
Yeah, it's a great point. And like you said, I mean, it's not the idea of capitalism. And it sounds like with that kind of rhetoric, be like, oh, you guys are anti-corporation, the evil corporations. That's not what it's about. I mean, corporations do a lot of good. There's a lot of big corporations that do a lot of great stuff. Like you said, the cronyism, getting in bed with the government, consolidating all that power to one or two or three companies to allow that. Nick, how in the world did we get to that point? Because I thought we had a free market, private, laissez-faire capitalist system to allow competition with multiple different competitors in a market. And I thought one of the few duties that government is supposed to be doing is to ensure a lack of a monopoly in a particular industry. But right now, when you have 3 or 4 major competitors out there and that's it, and they kill off everybody else, that's essentially a monopoly with those guys that pretty much run and dictate everything.
Sadly, a lot of folks think that the United States has a free market, and it's anything but a pure free market. This has been decades, if not longer, in the mix of just a steady expansion of the regulatory state, getting more and more involved. And as government gets more involved with each of the decisions that businesses have to make, those businesses see the writing on the wall. They see the incentives, and they realize they need to put all their work into influencing that process.
Yeah.
And so you could see that throughout history. You could even see it today, where President Trump, or rather the White House, met with cryptocurrency executives. And around the table was just the biggest players. As far as I know, there was no one from the individual side, from the user base, trying to express their concerns about laws and regulations here. And that's how it starts. It's just one meeting after another, one law after another, one regulation after another. And all of a sudden, we blink our eyes and we have this pile of paperwork that goes up 2 stories saying all the things businesses have to do. And in effect, it says all the ways you can't run a business.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the control and the regulation. And you know what? Someone like Donald Trump, I believe, has his, heart in the right place. He has the good intentions to want to fix things, but that's where the bleeding heart mindset kind of comes from, is I want to do something right. I want to try and fix the system. But we got to realize the government's not there to fix the system. The government's there to get the hell out of the way and let the system fix itself without government intrusion. And usually it balances itself out on that front. Nick, hang on the line. We got to take a hard break here. When we come back, I want to talk about more of the other issues where we can start fixing these without government intrusion. Trump's RX program, the healthcare program, getting money back into the pockets of the American people, and so much more. Stay here.
With Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, DC's broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
As you know, I'm always looking for a good snack, but it's hard to find good quality snacks without all the unhealthy additives. But now that problem is over. It's time to enjoy J&S Smoked Snacks. Real cuts of beef, real wood smoke, and real flavor that's crafted in small batches to keep every bag fresh. I promise you'll be addicted. And with numerous different flavors, you'll never get enough. This is not your average gas station jerky. It's J&S Smoked Snacks. Find them online at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it. Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all these social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with The Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Last time I came, I got in at 4 a.m. They said, "Sir, you're going to be speaking at 7." I said, "Really? Oh, that's wonderful." I said, "Where?" "National Prayer Breakfast." I said, "I'll be there. I'm afraid not to be. I need all the help I can get."
All right, Donald Trump speaking at the prayer breakfast earlier today. I don't know why he's so worried about that, but it is kind of funny. He makes a joke out of it quite a bit. But speaking at the prayer breakfast earlier today, we're hanging out with Nicholas Anthony right now at the Cato Institute, talking about ways we can get back to free market, laissez-faire, capitalist ideas without the government controlling things. And I mean, honestly, we get the government out of stuff and we say private sector over there, public sector over here, and do that divide without the cronyism. That solves like 95% of the problems in society overall. But we're scared to do that because the government's got its fingers and its tentacles and so many different things. Nicholas, I mentioned the examples as we went into the break of, Trump RX with the trying to lower pharmaceutical prices. Great idea, great concept, trying to lower pharmaceutical prices, but it essentially is creating another government form of the healthcare in order to lower these prices, as opposed to some of the other great ideas that he has, which is get government out of subsidized insurance companies, create more insurance companies for competition, and give money back to the people for them to choose their own health savings account or their health options. That's what we need to focus on, isn't it?
Yes, that is exactly right. And I think for folks who may not be up to speed on economics, they don't spend all their time nerding out about this. Just the simplest way you can think about this, when you want to know whether the government should intervene, is look around and ask yourself, are these services being provided? Are private sector players offering them? Is there competition in the space? Is there a clear available, maybe not robust, it might not be everywhere, but is there a clear available source for these things? And if the answer is yes, then we don't need the government to intervene and reinvent the wheel. Right. There's certainly problems with pharmaceuticals and getting good prices on those, but at the same time, there's tons of entrepreneurs who have recognized that problem and offered services to the market to make it easier than ever to figure that out. There's definitely an endless list of ways that things can be improved. Yeah. But at the same time, we can't pretend that there's nothing happening here and the government is our knight in shining armor.
They're never going to be the Gandalf riding in on the great white horse to save the day. It's never going to happen, and we don't want it to happen as well. That leads me to, let's go to New York City for just a moment. I want to pick on Zohran Mamdani. I've seen in the last week, I have seen the fact that there has been a slowdown and a backup of them trying to plow some of the snow after the storm that came out this past week. We've seen pictures and videos of trash building up because now apparently there's the backlog and the trash companies are not actually going through and getting all the trash that needs to be picked up. And now I just saw a headline, had to Breitbart on this one right before we came on the show, that apparently there's heat issues to where the heat has been cut off in different parts of New York City, and they're blaming Zohran Mamdani. The dude's only been in office for like a month or two so far. Nick, is this what New Yorkers get to look forward to moving forward with this guy in office?
You know, let me do something radical and defend him a little bit.
Okay.
Because problems existed before he started. The problems in government between waste, inefficiency, and incentive alignment issues existed before him. With that said, he seems all intent on making it worse. Based off the proposals he's put on the table, increasing the size of government, increasing the role of government in people's lives, it is not going to go well. And I think New Yorkers are going to have to ask themselves some serious questions as they face this, because I'm not so sure everyone realizes what they've gotten into. I mean, to be trapped, to be cold and surrounded by trash, that is not a fun way to kick off the year. No. So not only as they ask themselves, what did we vote for? I think they're going to need to take time and really reflect on, is this how we want the government run at all?
Yeah. Well, that is the social experiment they're going to have to live through. They chose it, and elections have consequences, and they can reap the benefits of their rewards and their hard work on that one. And we'll see how far he actually tries to push the envelope before things begin to crumble, like they've already started, and you mentioned, in New York City. Go check out Cato Institute, cato.org. You can find the latest piece from Nick responding to Trump's credit card restriction proposal. You can read that. It's a great read. Nicholas, we appreciate it very much, my friend. Great stuff. We got to keep up this fight. Let's get you back on and do it again soon.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, likewise. Appreciate it very much. Again, Nicholas Anthony with the Cato Institute, cato.org. Go and check out their website and all the great stuff they have going on. We're back at it again tomorrow for a Friday. We'll break down some of the big news. We'll see if we continue to wake up. And Republicans, leaders in Congress, when are you going to realize the kind of battle that we're in and what it takes to get it done? We'll cover some of that. Until then, be your own voice of reason. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.